Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Piglet here once again and I'm back for some more of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. So, last time we actually did completely done with the forms of the second half in the forms of Donut Plains. And today for this episode, folks, is the fact that we're going to be tackling through World 3, which is known as Vanilla Dome. So even then though, this usually takes place in a cavern place, so even then though, let's get started right there by the informs of Vanilla Dome 1. So, as you expected, that there's going to be 2 secret exits to find here, because I don't suppose that we've actually going to be saying this, but I'm going to say this again. If you see there's actually a level that usually has like a yellow dot, means that there's only one exit. But then, if you see there's a red dot in the forms of those specific levels, like this level for example, it actually contains not one, but the other exit as well. But it forms of 2 exits to be found here. So, anyways though, so as far as you might expect it, that's the reason why I've got Yoshi with me for all this time, ever since during the likes of you know, the top secret area. You notice there's a little bit of a block up in the, you know, higher area? Well, that's where you're able to actually hop off Yoshi for that stuff. Now, originally, if you want to able to actually get yourselves a secret exit in this level, that normally you're supposed to able to actually activate. You know these red outlines for the actual blocks themselves? Well, that's what the next, you know, switch powers might actually come in. But it wasn't until when we actually get to the later levels on the, you know, Vanilla Dome. So, anyways, I was gonna have to leave Yoshi behind, which I felt very, very sorry for, because Yoshi is a very, very cool guy. Even especially noticeable that he was a welcoming addition to the forms of, you know, the rest of the Mario games, basically, and his own games as well. Especially noticeable how the fact that, you know, the new Yoshi game will about to be released on the Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, you get the idea what this solution goes. So, yeah, today was actually in forms of the 3rd of June 2018, so we've literally got ourselves 9 more days to go until the E3 Nintendo, E3 2018, in addition to Square Enix, Sony, Microsoft. Well, that'll be for 8 days actually. So, yeah, I apologize of the lack of delays of the forms of the uploading schedules recently for this point, folks, because again, this was supposed to be uploaded during the likes of 6 o'clock normally, but I did have a little bit of an issues for my executive stuff. So with that being said, let's go and run, and then try to able to not touch the lava, because as you expected, lava is extremely dangerous, as far as you already noticed that, because, you know, if you touch the lava, then it's instant death. So you guys should know why I was going to be expecting to say that. So, anyway. I guess I should probably mention about this, actually, before we move on. Or in this case, trying to able to discuss upon by the forms of, you know, trying to able to discover secrets in this game. Recently I've managed to able to pre-order by the forms of Mario Tennis Aces. I know technically during the likes of the actual weekend, or in this case including for today, well, it wasn't until the midnight when the actual, the demo is over for the actual online tournament demo. I kinda wish I could would love to try that out, but unfortunately though I didn't get my chance to do it because of my lack of Wi-Fi connection. So I really do apologize if I missed that out on that specific event though, so again, I do apologize for that one though, so oh dang, I was off by 3 star points to able to actually play, you know, the roulette block minigame. Oh well. Until the next level though we're about to be entering, which is Vanilla Dome 2. And as you expect, it is a water-based cavern level, so even then though, that also, this level also has like not 1 but 2 exits as well, so expecting that we might actually come towards into that. In fact, I just lost my cape feather due to the actual cheeps and all that stuff. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get ourselves, actually, let's not use the cape feather, I'm just gonna use the fire flower, because we haven't seen that on screen for quite a while, ever since in, you know, the first world in the game, by the forms of Yoshi's Island, because I'm just more accustomed to the forms of the flying abilities at the forms of, you know, some of these Mario power-ups in these games that normally injure the likes of, well, before when, I would say New Super Mario Bros. Wii usually has the propeller mushroom so that you can fly in the air, well, for a certain altitude. And also, during the likes of the new Super Mario Bros. U has a flying squirrel ability, / new Super Luigi U also has that. So, expecting for that much so. And also, the likes of the raccoon power-up from both New Super Mario Bros. 2 and Super Mario Bros. 3. Not New Super Mario Bros. 3 because, well, we haven't exactly got to that point yet. Well, at least until this year's E3 revealed or something like that, or maybe something else. So, anyways though, secret exit is just basically if you go all the way to the left side of the actual screen, and then if you grab the hold of your key, and then you drag it or you take it all the way to the keyhole, and this will lead you to the red switch powers. So even then though, oh, we got ourselves a one-up chain reaction going on right there. So let's go ahead and just avoid this very, very dangerous rainbow shell, because the rainbow shell will try to home in on you. So, in fact, you can't kill it either, because it's temporarily invincible. So, essentially, we don't deal with that particular shell. So there we go. We've actually activated the red switch powers, or in this case, the red switch in general. So, you know how the fact that we've normally able to actually go for a the speedrun tactic, but in forms of you know, the secret exit in Vanilla Dome 1. Well, you can now finally do it properly while able to actually get onto the staircase of the forms of these red blocks themselves. So, I just want to mention and point things out because I've always loved to do speedrun tactics and all that stuff sometimes. Even especially noticeable in the forms of if you're ever trying to find some secret exits and all that stuff, which I always do enjoy. Especially in the 2D Mario games specifically though. I would say the same thing for 3D Mario games, but the fact of the matter is though, while I'm really expert at the forms of Super Mario 64 all the time, like I had it for both, you know, the cartridge version and Nintendo Wii Virtual Console version, which I honestly gotta admit though, I must have had that for 5 years now, so even then I can't believe the days themselves can go really, really fast and quick. Oh, there's a judging jug, the, well, monstrosity, you know, judging jug. Checkpoint right there in case if you want to have it. Actually, let's go ahead and grab the cave feather until the next couple of levels up ahead. Excluding the likes of, are you kidding me? You stupid buzzy beetles. How dare you? Anyways though, another thing I'd like to discuss upon for this point. I'm always keep running into enemies all the time. Anyway, I'm gonna have to not act out like that. Anyway, what was I saying from before? Oh yes, in the forms of today that I managed to able to actually access to the my Nintendo account recently, and I've managed to able to use my platinum coins because tomorrow I might decide to go ahead and buy Mario and Donkey Kong Minis on the Move for the 3DS eShop. Now, I know if that game was out for 5 years, just like how it does before I said the same thing for I've had Super Mario 64 Virtual Console Wii, Nintendo Wii version specifically for, you know, for 5 years at this point in time. So, anyways, oh, it looks like I'm not doing that great, but at least I did manage to get myself 2 1-ups, but that's okay, and decent enough. Alrighty then, so this will actually lead us to the next Ghost House level. In fact, let's go ahead and do this this level now. Because I might actually save up for the Vanilla Secret 1 until we get to later on down the road. In fact, I just want to concentrate on this Ghost House level until right now, so... Oh, fine. I was going to do this with smaller Mario, so I'm hoping I can able to get my Injustice going. So anyway though, because the reason why I've gone to get myself Mario and Donkey Kong Minis on the Move on the Nintendo 3DS eShop downloads because, well, I haven't got any of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong game for quite a long time, ever since Mini Land Mayhem for the Nintendo DS back in 2011, at least specifically in the UK version, because, you know, North American version got that earlier in during the likes of in 2010 before us, so, and I believe that could be also the same applies to how it does it on the Japanese version as well, so that should be pointing things out for this point, so, excuse me about that, sorry about that. Oh yeah, we actually come across into these little particular green looking obstacles here. These are the forms of the big bubbles right there, and basically we have to... Are you kidding me? My jump button doesn't react. We'll try that again. Hopefully we can get this time. But hey, on the plus side though, we've got ourselves a super mushroom with me, so let's go ahead and just use that. And able to spin jump onto those little enemies right there, just come towards me. So, Anywho though, because I decided to manage to get Mario and Donkey Kong Minis on the Move on the 3DS eShop version is the fact that, well, recently my Nintendo has been recently managed to able to get the 30% off on that game, because it was originally priced as in, £8.99, but now it's decided to drop into, like, I would say $6.30, almost anyway. But even then, I thought to myself, well, might be a pretty good deal, at least for my knowledge though anyway, so let's go ahead and just, I don't know why, just spending my time while I'm just trying to able to get coins from this little coin block, as far as I'm assuming for that. So anyways, this is the forms of these big bubbles right there, and basically you can't kill them because, well, if you manage to touch them, then you weren't able to take a hit, so... Plus, you have to be very, very specific with those movements there, especially that one over there. That in fact, the matter is, I've accidentally died. Oh my god, speaking of such, I've almost got killed right there by the forms of that big bubble. I believe if I may be wrong about that, but anyway though, I'll explain more on that later. Okay, so you have to get rid of those coins very, very quickly, because if you don't, then you're probably not going to get out of it though, so... I believe this may actually be the only Ghost House level to actually feature, just only one exit or something, because even then, until we get to the future worlds, we weren't able to actually get ourselves even more secret exits to be found, including, World 5, which we'll get to that sooner or later, but for now, let's just not do Vanilla Dome 3 just yet though, let's just go ahead and explore Vanilla Secret 1 instead. Because of that, we're actually going to be coming across into not one, but two different exits as well, similar to the ones in, Vanilla Dome 1, and especially Vanilla Dome 2, but, except the fact the matter is that we're going to be climbing onto this vertical climb, so, or in this case, the vertical climbing area, so with that being said, I do believe that the secret exit to be required in this level is to able to only use Cape Mario / Cape Luigi, if that's been the only thing in the forms of the multiplayer aspect of this. So we'll just go ahead and see as we'll go. Fly all the way up, and then that way you should be able to enter this pipe. And from here, I don't think there's any key around here. It's just the actual pole goal right there. So that being in mind, then we're pretty much done with the secret exit in this level. No problemo. And this way will actually leads us to the second Star Road right there. But again, I'm probably not going to do that after World 6 has been concluded. At least as far as I think it was. So anyway. Now we just need to do this level again, but this time normal regular exit. So that should be good to go from my knowledge for this little deposits right there. So yeah, as far as what I've heard from news about the forms of anything else, well, aside from that, well, there's not much to it. Besides the forms of how the fact that Capcom 74 is still pretty much lacking with the forms of some uploading schedules of Zelda Breath of the Wild recently because, I think that was probably my fault there for timing lackiness has been happening, so... Anyway, so let's try this again, although, before we do that, let's go and get our Cape Feather, the lovely, glorious power-up. Oh, I did it again! Jeez, what's going on with me doing all this, bad timing requirements of that spring? Oh, jeez, I felt bad for myself. Anyways, though, yeah, I should probably state about this, actually. It's the fact that, in the, you know these little special coins right there? That I've accidentally set this wrong. About the fact that those little, special coins right there, that the one I've got at the moment, these are known as Dragon Coins. So, because I keep on thinking to myself of the forms of the Game Boy Advance version for some reason, because I could assuming I may be wrong about this, but, basically, if you manage to grab those special coins, these were known for in the Game Boy Advance version, which I'm presuming these are called, like, I don't know what you would call them, like the forms of Yoshi coins, but in this version it's usually called it Dragon Coins or something like that, although I may be wrong about that for surely. So anyways, here we go with Vanilla Dome 3, and basically the main gimmick about this level right here is the fact that we're going to be riding onto that specific bone coaster, or in this case the bone platform. And then after realizing how the fact that we need to deal with these, the most devastating enemies of the bunch, are the forms of the Borgs. Which, you know, these guys were about to be making its return until when it gets to, like, you know, let's just say Super Mario Galaxy 2 and New Super Mario Bros. U and also Super Mario 3D Land and even 3D World. I'm assuming so for that anyway. But even then though, that might be some little bit more consumption to it. So, anywho though, there's a visible block right there in case if you're about to reach up. And luckily enough, we got ourselves a cape feather with me. So how glorious. Anyway though, you know, there's not much else to say about this here though. Well, usually as far as I'm aware for that though. Excuse me about that, sorry about that. Because of that though, I was way too busy just able to actually having a chat for myself, but in forms of some time schedules, but in forms of you know, the next new games is about to be announced or something like that related to that. But at least as far as I can basically say about that majorly though. So if you go to this little secret pipe right there, it just usually takes you to the actual ice cavern section. In addition to that, another cave feather. So how about that then, huh? Of course, the actual environment of that specific area is slippery based. So whoa! God, don't you dare scare me like that, Red Shell. Thank you very much. Jeez. That almost trying to able to throw me off all of a sudden, but usually it just happens. Anyway though. Oh, I remember this part right there. It's the fact that I think this is the point I've actually got into with, well, me and Sonic usually played this level back in 2011, and somehow if you managed to walk through the actual, you know these little boneheads that usually just manage to go in a diagonal formation whenever you come towards this little slant? I'm pretty sure you're actually going to be walking through that, unlike the ones in the forms of, let's just say the most current New Super Mario Bros. Games, well, at least specifically about 6 years ago. The fact that, well, I would say almost 6 years ago. Basically that these little, skeleton heads usually protects you from the forms of not to clip through. Well, not clip through, but just fall through it. But in forms of how the fact with these little death situations noting, like you see that right there. And if I manage to walk slightly to the right off the edge of that skeleton head, but in forms of the actual skeleton head platform, I would instantly die onto the lava. So with that being said in mind, then I pretty much conquered everything in this particular level. Well, aside from this optional, you know, dinosaur, you know, dragon coins, sorry. I'm gonna have to get used to this little items are known for. Ah, great. Talk about that edition. So anyways though, welcome to Vanilla Dawn 4, where basically everything else is, looks bright and cheery all of a sudden, and plus quite starry at the background. But the main premise of this level's ghost is the fact that we're gonna have to deal with a lot of bullet bills. In fact, this level feels somewhat similar to the likes of the one level from both, let's say, Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. But, except the fact the matter is it's on the 16-bit. Well, technically that, you know, in Super Mario All-Stars was also in 16-bit, but in forms of the Super Nintendo title / Nintendo Wii, because, I've noticed that some people usually found that, the Nintendo Wii version of Super Mario All-Stars, in this case Super Mario's 25th anniversary, can be kind of disappointing for some fans out there, because they might expecting to be able to actually think that they might actually bring up the Wii Remote controls instead of like the Super Nintendo controls and all that stuff. There's no point getting that one up right there because it's gonna go off screen at any point noticing. So enough about that. Oh, you kidding me? I always get hit by enemies as soon as I manage to get in touch into its face. Mainly for Koopa Troopa most likely, so... Anyways though. But yeah, you notice this little, green stuff that you can usually, oh, so close to get that gold minigame trying to able to actually activate it. Well, just simply gonna get ourselves 3 points for my disposal. Oh well. Never mind about that. Before we get into Lemmy's castle, by the forms of castle number 3, there's gonna be still more to it to this world. It's the fact that, before we get to this actually, I'll just go ahead and get back into the top secret area, because again, if you manage to able to lose your, best power-up in the game, but in forms of, you know, the cape feather and etc., I would recommend you do that, at least if you're the actual, first-time players out there. If you actually manage to come across into a secret exit in Donut's secret house, or in this case, no, not secret house, Donut, ghost house. So, anyways though, let's enter this pipe, and we can actually traverse through Vanilla Secret 2. And this level is going to be featuring, oh my lord, we gotta have ourselves a whole abundance of, oh we got one up right there, that's kind of cool. Oh god, a whole abundance of paratroopers right there is going to come on screen, so this is actually a good level if you want able to do a one-up chain reaction, if those of you actually be very curious about this. But it's way too difficult than it looks though, if you can see right there. It's probably because I might as well gonna get hit by several paratroopers, as you can see right there, because they're about to over against with me, even as this level feels very similar to me though, but in forms of in one level in New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. In that game, that normally the level usually calls it like, let's just say World 7-6, and in that world, basically there's gonna be a lot of paratroopers on that involving for that stuff. Oh my god, I almost gonna get, oh you. That's it, I'm gonna have to grab the fire flower for the best. So that way, it can devastate them. And, you know, what's really weird about the fire flower though is the fact that if you manage to able to spew out fireballs at then most of those common enemies, but in forms of, you know, paratroopers, Koopa Troopers, anything, it will actually transform into a coin though, which I'm pretty sure in the forms of I would say before when New Super Mario Bros. Series exists, I'm assuming so for that anyway, basically, you get yourselves a freebie coin, or in this case, just one coin if you manage to chuck the fireball at the regular enemies. Well, at least as far as I'm aware for that, though, so. Anyways, though, so we've almost nearly towards the end of this level, actually, so it's gone pretty, really quick. In fact, the arrow's just saying that, oh my lord. Still haven't got the minigame, though. Oh, jeez. Oh, I got one up. Oh, okay, because I just got one coin out of that little, goal minigame right there, or in this case, the actual goal pole. Sorry about that. Anyways, now let's move on to Vanilla Secret 3, and this usually takes place in the water, environment. Well, we're not just gonna be swimming underwater, well, until we get to Twin Bridges, or in this case, World 4 in this game. In fact, we haven't got that far off when it comes to exploring through, well, after this level though anyway, as far as I just realized about that. Because of that though, oh my god, here's the Poke fish. You can't kill them unless if you actually get yourselves a, well, let's just say a fire flower with you. Unless, if you be super safe with, Yoshi right there. In fact, let me just grab a checkpoint really quickly. Oh, Jesus. Oh, wow, that was really close. Anyways, though, the main premise of this level's gimmick, though, as you can see right there, that we can actually ride onto those dolphins for either, though, the main ride of it, or you can potentially use them as platforms, so that way you can able to get away with this little Poilpuff fish very easily, as far as you can tell from that. And plus, this level is very easy to get every single dragon coins, as you can see right there. And boom, finally, we've now got something for once. For that little, end of a level goal pole thing, so. Anyways though, so how much lives I've got left? I think I've got about 60 of them at the moment. But at least until after we finish this particular goal roulette block minigame, then we would... Oh, you kidding me? I didn't get as many prizes as I was hoping would be. Fine, I'll take 62 then. That's fine, whatever. But hey, at least it's still plenty of like, but in forms of extra lives and all that stuff. So, here we on to the new type of levels in this game, but in forms of Vanilla Fortress, which... I'm assuming that these fortress levels are placed exactly like the castle levels, but except even much more deadlier. And plus, not to mention though, that what makes the difference between the regular castle levels than the fortress levels is the fact that, well, we might actually come across into a different boss type this time around though. Well, at least until we actually get to it though anyway. So, Vanilla Fortress's gimmick is the fact that we're going to be swimming underwater for this majority of this points noticing. There's actually a green pipe down there, which you can only actually access to it once you become, let's just say, Small Mario, because even then with Big Mario or Cape Mario, that will be not possible if you're able to actually just notice something like this. This is what I mean, when it comes to fortress levels can get pretty deadlier, is the fact that these enemies keep getting in my way. And take a notice from Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Game Gear, that if you see this little different colored spikes that are hanging out from the ceiling, if you're continuously moving throughout, then you would able to actually gonna get hit by these spikes falling out. So that's one thing you're gonna have to worry about this. So let's let this swamp get in my way. And we actually have ourselves an introduction to those bone thins, which they usually just swim straight forward instead of like homing on you, unlike the ones in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, so to speaking as such. So anyways though, why do I reflected the mushroom like that? That's just a little bit ridiculous, I have to say for this much. And if this is where we actually come across into a different boss type, this is the forms of the Resnors. You have to defeat all 4 of them on this one giant Ferris wheel, and if you manage to get rid of them all, then you would able to accomplish this level. So, of course, these guys will make a return during the likes of New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the Nintendo 3DS, but except the fact of the matter is that these guys are a lot more harder than the likes of New Super Mario Bros. 2 was, because normally New Super Mario Bros. 2 was definitely the easiest 2D Mario games in the entirety of the 2D franchise. So, anyways though, so here we on to Butter Bridge 1, but of course I might save this up for the next video because we got one more level left. In the forms of Vanilla Dawn anyway, because we're now going to be taking on Lemmy Kooparounds. So, in this case, Castle number 3. So, this is where the level starts to get pretty tough and difficult, especially in this level as far as the actual first level for the hardest Calolock anyway. But even then, we'll get to that as soon as we get into that. So once again, we have to leave Yoshi behind, so could have wished I just want to bring him there, unlike the ones in Super Mario Maker. Then he would normally be able to take him into the forms of the castle levels themselves. But anyway though. So here we actually go ahead and introduce it to ourselves, the first introduction to Chemix, aka Magic Koopa. For those who've lived in North America, like if you ever played Mario Party 9 before, basically they're trying to spell a magic on you. So even then though, that you have to be very, very careful with magic though. So I believe Chemic spells usually cast in with 3 different shapes, like there's the circle, square, and triangle. So that makes it pretty much obvious with this factor right there. So and as you can tell right there, if you manage to enter in this little particular P-switch door, like I did manage to enter in from before, not only does it give you a nice little checkpoint or the midway points, which thankfully though, if you didn't do that on the other hand though, if you managed to go continuously for the right for this whole entire time, you're gonna have to redo that, if you manage to die on that specific level, you have to redo the entire beginning part again. But unless if you actually get a midway point, if you actually activate the P-switch and all that stuff, you can actually create the, you know, just trying to let the coins created into these little solid platforms or blocks. So that way you would able to actually walk in into just trying to enter in a door like that. Well, that might be seems the case here, because even then if I accidentally died right there, then I can actually just respawn where that checkpoint I've managed to activate it for. So even then, that's a very, very, very good recommendation if you're having a hard time on this level in particular. But if that's the case, then yeah, you should go ahead and definitely do that. So, alright, so we're nearly towards the end of this level though, so we just got ourselves some more shifting blocks and all that stuff, in addition to dry bones here and there as well. So, expecting so, then we would able to hopefully fight against with Lemmy Koopa. So yeah, that's where I can go. And if you manage to hit that block there, we get ourselves a free Cape Feather. So how about that? So here we go, face off against with Lemmy Koopa, and he's very simple, although pretty tough at the same time, because well, all you have to do is basically we need to knock his head 3 times, or step onto his head 3 times. But here's the thing though, he constantly spamming himself, his duplicates of himself, and then all you have to do is just figure out the real one, which is all you have to do here. But here's the thing though also, is the fact that you need to watch out for that Plotterboo right there, because the Plotterboo will wandering around all over the place on this one particular arena alone. But if you don't dodge that well enough though, then you're probably gonna get hit a lot of times, even if you manage to activate the checkpoint. And then if you don't activate the checkpoint though, you have to redo the entire beginning portion again. So there we go, that concludes Vanilla Dawn. Mario has trumped over Lemmy Koopa of Castle number 3. Mario's quest is starting to get much more difficult. Have you found the red and green switches yet? Well, I assumedly so, yeah, because I've already activated those 3 switches so far. So if that's the case, then you're expecting the journey to be a hell of a lot more easier as it should be, though. So, anyways, though, folks, we're gonna have to end things off at this point right there. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. It's the fact that we're going to be exploring through World 4. I believe World 4 is actually called Twin Bridges, because I'll tell you why until then. So see you guys then. Later, fellas.